Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. How are you, Nat?
I'm really well, Miss Sammy. How are you, lovely?
I'm fabulous. I feel weird. I'm wearing white today, and white is up top. White is not my color. You know how you do a
Looks
color
good.
chart and it
Yeah,
can
yeah,
change your
yeah,
mood? I feel a bit
yes.
like I'm sort of fading into the background.
Yeah, no,
But
you're not.
we're actually going to be talking about Digestive Drama Club today because I feel like there's
Yeah.
a lot of drama that happens that
There is
extends from
so
the
much
gut.
drama that happens in the gut. It's
Oh,
like a little
and
drama queen.
yeah, it is. It is a drama llama.
Yeah.
When did you realize that it sort of was an extension from your gut?
As I've mentioned in a previous episode, from a younger age, I was having digestive issues like that, oscillating
Mm.
between diarrhea and constipation and, that stress response. But it wasn't really until I actually started studying for this degree, because nobody had explained to me that there was a connection. So I
Mm.
went over a decade of not realizing. I mean, I knew that I had, diarrhea and constipation, and would just one day it would be one, and then it would flip, and then it would be the other on the
Mm.
following day. But because I'd had it for, most of my life, I didn't have an association to it. Like I said, it wasn't until I sat in class in a lecture and went, oh,
Light
okay,
bulb.
light bulb,
Mm.
yes.
For
What
me,
about
I
you?
I didn't know for a very long time. I mean, obviously I had anxiety when I was a little girl with panic
Yeah.
disorder. And I just always felt uncomfortable in my tummy. Like whenever I was nervous, I could feel it in my tummy. But I
Mm,
never really thought that they were one and the same. Like
yeah.
if I had, because I had IBS for a very long time, I just thought it was normal to run to the toilet after you eat food. I just thought that was a normal thing. And then when I started realizing the food I was eating was impacting my gut, I started changing my diet, but I still at that point didn't realize that it had an impact on my emotional state and my mood.
Mm.
And that didn't come along for a while. I'm going to say before I started studying, I started reading into the
Okay.
gut-brain axis
Yep.
because there was just so much information out there you could access.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting. It's such a big topic now. And we're going to
Yeah.
sort of touch base on it. I mean, we could be here for hours talking about the gut brain, let's be honest.
Easy.
Um, but I wanted to put a metaphor to talk about it sort of like a digestive drama club. And the drama, these guys, the characters in the play, let's call them characters. These are our
I like that.
microbes. And there's so many different
Yes.
characters that are performing down there and
Yep.
in our mouth too, not just down there.
Yes.
So
Yep.
we've mentioned before, digestion starts in the mouth. And we did a whole episode on the importance of chewing. And I
Yep.
think we talked a little bit about the microbes that break
We
down
did.
the food in our mouth. So if you think as a nutritionist, it starts in the mouth and it goes all the way through to our butt, to the toilet.
Yep.
So it's like one big long tube, and that sort of absorbs into our body. So it's when you think about it, it's all external, all the digestive tube. So as we go along, these guys run the show. For me, I discovered that these microbes actually are talking to our
Yes.
brain, and
Yep.
that freaked me out.
Yes. Yep. Same.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the cast. What do
Yeah.
they produce in our guts? Neurotransmitters?
Exactly. Sorry,
I'm
I just had a
putting you
vague
on the
guess.
spot. Get your nutritionist
No,
hat
I'm a
on,
bit
woman.
tired. We were just talking before we hit record. I joined an a cappella group last
You did
night.
join an
Um,
acapella. group,
I
which is
did, but I
great
had
for
a
the
late
vagus
night and
nerve,
I'm not
right?
used to having late nights anymore. So my brain is not really engaged
It's
yet.
all right. I will get us started off the bat.
But
Now,
yes,
so
neurotransmitters.
that's all right. These guys run the show. So we have so many different kinds of bacteria, that microbes that live inside us. And a lot of them actually produce something called neurotransmitters and metabolites. And these are the
Yeah.
things that make us feel certain things. And they actually send a signal up to our brain through something called the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
And it can make us feel great. It can make us feel crap. It can make us feel all these things. Do you know what actually freaks me out? And I say this too in my workshops that I do, is we are actually more microbes than we are human cells.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
We have
So
more
they're
microbes.
driving, they're running the show. So all
Yeah,
these
we are
feelings and
we are
sensations.
microbes more, yeah, which
And
is
these
fascinating.
exactly. And these lovely little bugs that live inside us, they actually stimulate things like serotonin. So we have serotonin receptors in our gut. Most of our serotonin's made in there, the happy
Yep.
neurotransmitters. But
Yep.
they actually stimulate that. So se- serotonin is actually important for appetite as well. That's why it's in the gut,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's why it's in the gut, but it actually does stimulate appetite. So if you've got a poor
Yeah.
appetite, you're feeling pretty crappy, it could be because you're actually not creating the right bacteria in your gut and feeding it. Maybe you're killing it off with what you're putting in your body, that you're feeling pretty crap. Is it 90
Yeah.
to 95% of serotonin?
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. I know
Yeah,
we've discussed this before. It's some studies say 90 up to 95%
in your
of our
gut.
serotonin is produced in our gut, not
That's
in our
crazy.
brain.
Because
Yeah.
often, like when I was younger, I always used to think, because your thoughts are in your brain, right? I
Mm.
always used to think that when I felt anxious or sad and that it would be up here, but it's actually a message that goes up to your brain from your gut. And
From your gut. Yeah.
exactly. So
That's why we
imagine,
refer all the time to our gut. Like,
yeah,
I've got that feeling in my gut. I feel like I've been kicked in the guts, or, you
yeah,
know,
the
the
pains
the
in my
gut
gut.
feeling, we
Yeah,
so many of our emotions and things that we experience, even though we think it's coming from our head, our brain,
yeah,
that's what we refer to it. Even before science knew the gut-brain axis, we always referred to our gut.
yes.
It's
And that
fascinating.
access that we've got this, the longest nerve in our body. So it's not just your brain, it's all the nerves that run through your body and that
Yep.
wraps around your digestive system. It's
Yep.
called the vagus nerve.
Vagus
Vagus
nerve.
in Latin actually means wandering because it wanders
Yes.
all over your
All through
body.
the body. It affects
And
every organ in the body.
exactly. And think of it like, I don't know if you use WhatsApp or Messenger and you're in a chat group and you always have that one person who writes most of the messages, like constantly writing in the chat group. Imagine that is your gut talking, because your gut actually sends more messages through the vagus nerve, a lot more than your
Yeah.
brain sends down to your gut. So what's
Yeah.
happening in the gut is actually going all through your up into your brain. If you're not looking
Absolutely.
after your tummy, it's going to extend out into everything that you do,
Yeah.
which is such a
But
not a great
also
thing.
it's a biodirectional. I mean,
It is
we refer to it,
definitely
it's a highway. It's the highway
a
between our
super
gut and our
highway.
brain. The
Yeah, but
superhighway.
the research
So
I've read shows it's more that way than that way.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's more,
from
but
the gut.
when once you've got that anxiety, like if you've got dysbiosis, so disrupted
The
microbial
balance out. Yeah.
flora, and then it then travels to the brain, affects our mood,
Yeah.
creates anxiety, or has a huge contributing factor to it. But then also the anxiety, the brain then sends that message back down to the gut to create even more dysbiosis and gut issues and IBS and all these things. So
Oh,
while it's mainly,
they go
going
hand in
up
hand.
to the brain, then that's when that endless cycle starts happening, because it's
All the
then going
time.
biodirectionally.
Oh, yes,
But yeah,
definitely.
it starts in the gut.
I read somewhere the other day that you know how we call it our second brain?
Yes.
That they would refer to it as a first brain because the microbes that have been
Yes.
living down there have been around for millions of years, a lot longer
Yep.
than the human brain has formed, like past caveman brain. that
Yeah.
the thinking patterns that we have created over the last, what, let's say a couple 100,000 years are nowhere near to the intelligence of the
Yeah.
microbes living in the gut. I'm like, isn't that
Absolutely.
interesting?
It's fascinating.
So it's your
It's,
first brain. Your brain on your
yeah,
head's your
it
second
really is.
brain.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. And so when it comes to mental health, you should be thinking of your gut,
Yeah.
not your brain, your gut.
Your gut is
Your gut.
number one where you should be
Exactly.
looking
So
first.
we talked about serotonin. GABA is also another one. So GABA for me, my body really struggles to make GABA. That's why I get anxiety and panic because when you don't have enough GABA, which is a
Yeah.
neurotransmitter in your body, this is basically the brakes for your nervous system. All the things that
Yeah.
make you excited, GABA calms you. Calm down, Sam, calm down.
Yeah.
And if I
As
don't
the
have
opposite
GABA,
of the you've got your GABA and then you've got your glutamate. So
yeah,
your GABA is
yeah,
your
well,
calming, your glutamate is your excitatory
exactly,
neurotransmitter. When that's when they get out of
exactly.
balance.
Exactly. And glutamate is meant to convert eventually into GABA. But if
Yes,
you don't have the specific enzymes to do that, which is what
do
my
it. Yeah.
body lacks, I'm
Yeah.
excited all the time, Nat. I'm
Yeah.
excited all the time. And I've
Yep.
got to say, like I've had people who have similar genetics as me, and they take GABA and
Yep.
it works, but I can't take GABA. GABA, it
Oh,
converts
really?
back to
The
glutamate.
glutamate.
And then I'm more
Ah.
excited.
Oh, wow.
The reason I want to talk about GABA is because it's actually something that, if you've heard of, these are quite common, these strains, Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium. Did I say that right? I
Yeah.
never,
You
ever say
did.
my
Yeah.
thing.
Your lacto and your bifido
Mm.
species
Yeah, they
are
actually
number
help to,
one.
yeah, and they're the ones that help to produce GABA.
GABA. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're not getting them, which right, I'd say most people are somewhat getting them if they're having yogurts and things because they
Yogurts
often
and
add those
kefir
strains.
and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those ones are helping to form that wonderful calming effect that we need on our body to
Yeah.
stop it from being so excited.
I know, right?
Gosh. And this is something that also it helps to slow those racing thoughts, which we all seem to have these days. It can really just help you feel grounded. Yeah.
Yes.
Because, yeah,
Yeah.
as we mentioned, low GABA, jittery, excited, anxious,
Yep.
and panic attacks.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah. And dopamine's another one. So, when we think of our gut, we think rewards and stuff with dopamine, but we often think of our brain again. But again, dopamine, a lot of it's actually produced in the gut. Did you know
Yep.
that as well, Nat?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. But a lot of
Wow.
people don't.
So, dysbiosis messes with your dopamine levels. And it makes it a lot harder to feel that pleasure and motivation to do anything. And we want that
Yeah.
because we've got so many things to do all the time and we kind of need that motivation and that drive, don't we?
Yep.
Um,
We do.
yeah. And another thing is the leaky gut. This is something
Yep.
we haven't really mentioned yet, have we? With leaky gut?
I think, I don't know. I can't
I,
remember
we
if we had
mentioned it
touched,
in a
yeah,
previous
touched on it.
episode, but
Yeah.
you were talking about the LPS so
Yes.
think of the if you have a lot of dysbiosis, so that's a really imbalanced sort of bacteria state in your gut, the guys that are taking over the show and they're not running the show properly, because it's a drama club, right? I
Totally.
feel like they get angry and they release toxins into the
Yeah,
body.
there's
These,
endotoxins. Yes.
yeah, and
It's
these
amazing.
toxins can seep into our bloodstream and
Yeah.
not make us feel good.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And
again, it then affects our brain.
you guys have probably heard enough of us telling you the reasons why you need to focus on your gut. So, what
Yes. I
kind
mean,
of
it's
things
such a
can we?
huge subject. I
It
mean, we
is,
could
and I
literally
just sort
talk for an
of
hour about this.
trying to work out the best way to sort of touch on it without going down a little tunnel where we start talking about
Yes.
something completely different. Yeah. So with all your feelings, think whenever you feel something, think it's in my tummy. It's in my
Yeah.
tummy. It's not in my head. It's in my tummy.
And your
Your tummy's
stomach.
the one doing a lot of the talking. You need to work
Yeah.
out why it's talking so much, what's going on
But part
there.
of digestion is, don't forget our stomach, because that stress, the stress hormones reduce our hydrochloric acid, our stomach acid as well.
Mm,
So it
mm.
starts up even higher,
Yeah.
which then also affects our gut bugs, our
Well, that's like in clinic, I often start with up the top and work my way down.
yes,
I never really start because
100%.
a lot of people they go,
No.
okay, I need to see what my bacteria levels are in my stool. So they go and spend like hundreds and thousands of
Yeah.
dollars on getting these complex stool analysis done when really they really just needed to start working up here, working
Yeah.
on their healthy eating habits, and then
Yeah.
it sort of clears the pathway down.
It
And
does.
then if you still got digestive issues, that's when you
Yeah.
sort of go
Exactly. That's the way I look at it in clinic. I start
yeah.
with, are they eating slowly? How we've talked before, making sure we are chewing our food, making sure all that's happening, then looking at our stomach function. Is that working optimally?
Mm.
Correcting that. And then working on the gut. And then, yeah, it's only then when we've done everything and some things have, corrected and improved. But if there are other things, like, I just had a client recently who she had zero gut issues anymore. And she came to me with some really severe gut issues. But then I got her most recent pathology done, and she still had, so while she had no symptoms whatsoever, she was feeling good, had a lot of improvement, but she wasn't absorbing her foods. Like her
Mm.
nutrients, like just across the board on her pathology was really, really low, really out of balance. So
Jeez.
then that's when I do, further testing
Further
because those
testing.
tests aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
No. And
Not at
then
all.
that's
But
when we
you
do a
just made
deeper
me
dive.
realize, like, I haven't even mentioned the fact that a lot of the bacteria in our gut produce vitamins and minerals and stuff as well. Like,
Yes,
they're just,
absolutely.
they're very essential. We need them. We couldn't
Yeah.
survive without them.
And
And we
that's the
need to
other
look
thing as
after them
well.
more.
There's no such thing as good and bad bacteria. Like
Yeah.
even the bacteria when our microbes become out of balance, the ones that create these toxins and stuff become, as we've talked about, are prolific. And so
Yes.
it's not about removing them because they have
It's
their
just
own,
keeping them in check.
it's keeping them in check,
Yeah.
having them live in harmony in
Yeah,
our gut.
I explained that I had to do a workshop for kids and parents on bacteria and guts, and I explained it in the way that through superheroes, and I talked about the
I
superheroes
love
and the
it.
villains, and I said, if you get rid of the Joker and all the villains, the superheroes would have nothing to do, and they would just set up camp
Exactly.
somewhere and just kind of lose
Yes.
all their superpowers, right? Because they wouldn't need to
Absolutely
use them.
love that. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, that I was pretty proud of that one, trying to
Yeah, you
explain it.
should
You need
be.
them. You need them down there.
Absolutely.
They are beneficial. They're keeping your armies nice and strong and on alert and action.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an interesting one, and I say this to my
Yeah.
boys, that humans don't produce gas, your bacteria do. So if you have
Yes.
smelly gas, the smells can sort of determine what kind of bacteria you have, like the
Yes.
sulfur, what do they call
Yeah,
it, rotten egg
sulfur. I remember
smells.
learning, and it's, I ask people this all the time. Is it's like, does your poo when you're passing stools or flatulence, like, does it smell like burning rubber or vomit?
Mm,
Or just really, really noxious. And, because we do
cabbagey.
pass some gas,
Mm,
that's normal, but when it's out of whack and yeah, just really noxious, it's
burns.
like, yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
a burn in, do you say fart or flatulence?
Well, yeah, in normal life, I say farts, but obviously when I'm in clinic, I'm being professional, so I do say
Could just
flatulence.
imagine you with a client. How often do you fart?
Yeah, no.
That's funny.
No, I
Uh,
remain professional during a
I
consult.
said stools in clinic once, and they kind of looked at me like, "What? What's a
Yeah.
stool?"
Oh, did they? Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't had
I'm
that
like,
yet. Everyone
"Oh,
knows. They might look at me weird going. And that's the other thing that you've probably found it too. I know pretty much everyone, we love talking about the gut and the digestive system and
yeah."
poo and all the things that go with it. And so many people, because we don't talk about it. We just,
No, we don't.
it's not, mannerful to be talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah, I
about
know,
this stuff. So
right?
when you start doing the deep dive into it, they start looking horrified. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh God, you're asking these questions.
These, you
Doesn't
don't
that
ask questions.
explain, you know?
Just what does it look like? What's the consistency? I don't look
Yes.
at it. Who
No,
looks
but then
at
they
it?
do. Like when you educate them, all of my patients then start looking and they're like,
Yeah.
it's actually really fascinating when they get over that
Yeah.
barrier of going, ooh, I need
It's
to
a
look at my
window
food.
into your gut health. It
It
really
literally
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So things that you might have is bloating, flatulence,
flatulence,
smelly flatulence.
smelly.
What else
Yeah,
might you
that's the
notice
thing.
if you've got dysbiosis in the gut? Like it's an
Well,
imbalance going on there.
feeling of nausea,
Nausea.
burping, IBS sort of symptoms. Again, that diarrhea or constipation,
Mm.
undigested food in your stools.
Yep.
You might notice if there's mucus on your stools, that
Mm.
gives us a lot of information as
Yep.
well. And
Yeah.
whether they float or they're sinking,
Wow. So we're
that's
getting into the
telling us
poo talk already.
what malabsorption is going on, whether you're absorbing your fats.
Yeah.
Simple
Yeah.
things like that.
That was a big one for me.
Yeah,
Um,
me too. I think that's a
Amazing.
really, really common one.
My gut is talking. My gut, I mean, when you think about it, if it's a drama club, what kind of drama are you? Are you watching a drama every day, or is it like a horror show? Like what's going on down there? Uh,
Exactly.
nah. What are some gut healing basics? So sometimes supplements can be too much if your gut is like, whoa.
I
So
often use, depending on how bad the gut stuff is, and this is more food, it comes in supplement form, in
mm,
powder form or capsule, but I will often just start with slippery elm just to
yeah,
help calm everything down. It also then puts a nice
nice, smooth,
mucilage,
yeah,
nice smooth
yeah,
barrier on the intestinal
yeah.
tract just to help everything, and then they start to be able to absorb. So that's one of the first things I always do.
Be nice, yeah.
Slippery elm is foul,
It
and I always
is.
tell
You
my
can add it to
patients
some
this.
sort of a smoothie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Consistency. It's
yeah.
clumpy when
The
you're
only
trying to
problem
mix
is,
in.
and you've got to make sure if you are taking it that you have it away from
Mm.
other supplements, but definitely other if you take any medications,
Yeah,
because it can also bind to everything else and excrete it
mm.
from the body. So that's
Don't
one
want
thing. You've
that.
got to take it, yeah, away from your medications.
Yeah,
But
yep.
that's where I always start if it's
Mm.
needed.
Yeah. I find a lot of people forget too, like if you've got a lot of inflammation and your gut is not in a good space, it's not a matter of just taking a probiotic. There's some
No.
there's some really like inflammatory wall damage happening down there. You've got to prepare the
Yeah,
walls as well and the
exactly.
leaky gut. That like there's a bit of repair that needs it. And I've
Yeah.
actually had a lot of kids that have come to me with celiac disease and their parents just, diagnosed with their children have been diagnosed, but they've never sort of healed the gut. They've just started eating gluten-free
No.
foods. And I'm like, well,
Yeah,
they're not absorbing anything because you haven't repaired the
exactly.
damage that's happened.
Exactly. And that's the
Yeah.
other thing, as you mentioned, removing foods that are inflammatory. So things like
Mm.
gluten.
Yeah, that's what I
Sometimes
often do.
dairy is often one. I'm not against dairy, love dairy. But
But if you're
when you're in a
inflamed,
highly inflammatory
yeah,
state, s-
alcohol is a big
alcohol,
one.
yeah,
It's just like killing the bacteria
it
down there.
literally is killing. Yeah,
Sugar is a
yeah.
massive
All those
one.
ones. Yeah,
And
just
quite often it's
removing those things.
difficult because if you've got a lot of bacteria that love sugar living down there,
Yeah,
it's like giving up a drug. It really
yeah,
is. And
yeah,
it's hard to go cold turkey. Like, even I've been at points in my life where my sugar cravings have gotten out of control. And you
yeah,
do ridiculous things to eat the sugar to
yeah,
get it back. Like, you're
yeah.
thinking about it all the time, but are you thinking about it or are your microbes sending your brain a
Exactly. It's
message to tell
your
you,
stomach
feed
brain, your
us?
gut brain that's talking.
Yeah, because your appetite, your what you crave changes as your bacteria in your gut change.
It
Isn't that
really
interesting?
does. Yeah,
Very interesting. So once you've sort of gotten rid of the inflammation and that, then do you sort of start giving foods that will help to grow those colonies down there to
absolutely.
build new
Yeah.
characters for the drama club for the
Yeah.
play?
Yep, absolutely. Again, it depends on the severity. Some people,
Mm.
I go straight to probiotics because they're just so depleted.
Yep.
But I always do start, even if I put them on a probiotic, I'm also doing
Mm.
food. And then
Yeah.
a lot of
Like a
other patients,
prebiotics food, prebiotic
yeah,
rich foods.
prebiotics and probiotics. So getting all
So
your
the
fibers
because some
in.
people might not be knowing the difference between the two.
Yeah, so you've got resistant starch, which is really, really great for prebiotics. Sometimes
So
I will
what's a
give it.
prebiotic though? Let's go back to
So
basics.
yeah, so prebiotics is the food that we feed our probiotics.
Yep.
Without our probiotics can't flourish.
No.
They're being starved. So
Yeah.
that's the food for our
I often go
bacteria.
prebiotics first too because I find some people will go and just get any probiotic and it's not the strain they need. You can
No,
actually get
exactly.
psychobiotics. You can buy probiotics that are specifically for mental well-being now.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can get
yeah.
probiotics for so many different things like iron
Yes.
deficiency,
Yep.
for hormone regulation. They
Yep.
specific strains that focus
For
in on,
UTIs,
yeah.
Yep.
But
There's, yeah,
again, going back to the lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, they actually link to lowering stress hormones and reducing anxiety. Those ones have had
yep.
actual clinical trials. They've done a lot around
Yes.
those two.
Yes.
And they seem to be the ones that you can sort of, there's specific like families and then offshoots. Like you have, is it
Yep.
rhamnosus and
Rhamnosus.
longum? Oh my gosh, there's
Yep.
too many names to remember. I'm not
There's
in clinic in them anymore, so excuse me because I haven't been reading these out to kids in schools.
plus I don't think we want to bore our audience with
Audiences know. And
start
if you're looking
rambling
for
off all the different
prebiotics,
species.
so prebiotics feeding the bacteria, we want to look at things like onions, garlic, asparagus, bananas, and depends on the
Bananas.
ripeness of the banana too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
I've got a graph that I show my patients of a banana
Yep.
starting from when it's green right through to when it's like overripe and
Mm.
the transition. So where it starts with this resistant starch
Yep.
and then as it
Gets
slowly
sweeter and
ripens,
sugary.
the fiber drops and the sugar increases. It's,
And that's when you
they
make a banana bread with it.
exactly. Yes.
So we also, so those are your prebiotics and cooked and cooled potato and rice
Potatoes and
and
rice. Yep.
apples, those kinds of
Yep.
things.
Yep.
And then you've got your polyphenols, polyphenols or polyphenols. What do
I
you
say
say?
polyphenols. Yeah.
Polyphenols. Sometimes I say stuff and then
I've
someone, I
never heard
watched
of
like a,
polyphenols.
I
I've never.
watched a documentary and a guy kept saying polyphenols and I'm like,
Oh,
what the heck?
okay. I've
Oh, yeah.
never
Do you know
heard
how
that.
like people say, innovative and innovative? I'm like, would you pick one? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
But yes,
these are plant
polyphenols.
chemicals. So chemicals are not
Yes.
bad, like they're natural in nature chemicals. So these are plant
Yes.
chemicals, and they actually fuel healthy microbes. So they fuel them. They give them fuel. You can see them in things like colorful berries. I add a lot of these to my rich in antioxidant foods, cacao,
Yes.
green tea as
Green
well.
tea.
We've mentioned
Yep.
green matcha.
Much.
And then, of course, we also look at lifestyle because as a nutritionist, we need to look at how you're chewing, things you're doing that can lower cholesterol, not cholesterol, stress, well, cholesterol as well, but
Yeah.
things to lower your stress levels because as you were talking about with cortisol, it definitely
Yeah.
causes issues in your gut.
And of course, as we've mentioned before, number one, breathing.
Breathing.
Start with breathing,
Yep.
which activates the vagus nerve. If you just eat a diversity of plant foods, so your fruits and vegetables, a lot of your probiotics, especially if you add in your things like your yogurts, your kefirs, kombuchas, those sorts of things. So rather than trying to, especially because you're anxious and then you start fixating on, well, what foods, eat the rainbow and
Yeah. My
and you will
rainbow.
get eat the
All the
rainbow.
things. And one more thing on that as well is I do find some people they get on hooked onto fad diets like carnivore or keto,
Yeah.
you name it. It can actually have a huge impact on your gut
Huge.
microbes. And we
Yes.
notice specific families down there, colonies dying off because you're not giving
Yes.
them
Yeah, because
foods.
meat doesn't have
Yeah.
the fibers and stuff that is needed to feed.
Specific families. There's so much
Yeah.
controversy on that.
Oh,
Controversy?
I know.
Controversy.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
won't go too far into that, but the main message we want to get across is that a lot of what you're feeling right now mentally is in the gut.
Yeah.
And focus on healing and nurturing that beautiful little space
Yeah.
down there.
Love your gut.
Look after your little bugs because they're
Yeah.
really down there wanting you to help them out because the Joker and who are all the villains are starting to take over, and
Yeah.
Batman and Superman are needing a little extra support. Stop throwing
Me
kryptonite
too.
down there.
Yeah. Yes.
The drama is
Wow.
getting out of control. So,
It is.
your
Yeah.
reflective. I can't talk today. I think it's because this is our first podcast. We're a little bit wobbly, let's be honest. We'll find our feet.
Your mouth and my brain, like,
I know, we
what
start with a
what hope have we
thinker.
got?
If your gut bugs are the cast of your inner drama club, are they putting on a comedy show, a romance show, or a horror story right now? How can you start changing the cast? Throw in some
Yeah.
of the fun loving guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a
Do you
love
have
affair. Turn it into a big romantic drama.
like a
Love
Bridgerton?
affair.
Ah,
Yes.
our body's
Absolutely.
always listening. Our gut bugs are always listening, right?
Always listening.
Always listening. Do you have any more that you wanted to add in on this lovely episode that we've done, which we've
I don't
sort of
think
just
so.
touched base on microbes
Yeah,
here?
we've
I
touched
mean,
base on
very
things.
clinical
And
if
of
we
course,
want.
if people want us to dive deeper, we're always open to, so if you're like, oh, I really loved something that we've touched on, could you expand on that? Definitely
Yeah,
reach out to us because
we
then we can do a
can.
deeper dive
We
into
could go
something. Because,
deep. I think that's why we're a bit
yeah,
wobbly because I didn't want to go too clinical or too
I
far
know. And it's so
and
hard
start
to
going
keep it
down a
concise when
pathway.
it's so small. Yeah, it's such a short.
Yeah. See you on the flip
Yeah.
side.
Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.